Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Eau de Treasure. This is Steven. I usually cover discontinued vintage rare and interesting fragrances as they come in the mail. I find these treasures and add them to my collection, just show you what I got. In this video, I don't have anything really vintage. I do have a discontinued fragrance. I'm going to talk about A Men Pure Malt from Thierry Mugler. I did a video before, episode 211, and I compared this fragrance world cologne called Posh Malt and see how it stacks up against A Men Pure Malt. And I finally got the other cologne. This is the more popular one that people talk about. Strangely enough, this is also a fragrance world cologne. The same company they cloned the same fragrance. They made a different one called Star Men Nebula. Finally got it. Haven't opened it up yet. I thought I would open it up now, give you my first impressions of Star Men Nebula, and tell you how it stacks up against the original A Men Pure Malt, which I have right here, and the other clone, Posh Malt, in this video. All right, got these unboxed. Sorry about the glare. This is the Posh Malt right here. And let's open this sucker up. Star Men Nebula. It's even got the color scheme, right? That brownish gold and white. Yeah, I just got these recently. I did a Fragrance X haul that I didn't make a video of because there was a lot of stuff like this that I'm going to try out. If I like it, I'll keep it. If I don't like it, I will just resell it here in Japan, where this stuff is very rare. You can't buy this stuff in Japan, so this goes for a lot more money than what I paid for it. Nice juice color there, a light brown. It's kind of got a curved back to it. Eau de parfum. And a cap with a little texture there. Snapping cap. All right, looks pretty good. FW on the sprayer. All right, so let's give this one a shot. Let's spray it first on my right hand here. There we go. Some nice blasts. Right away, I can smell that. Wow, it does smell just like these. I'm going to do the original one on the other hand. What I decided to do is I'll just wear these around for a week, and I'm going to compare them all to each other. Then I'll come back to the video and close it out and just tell you what I think of each one. Now I'm going to spray also on paper. So let's do the new one, the Star Man Nebula on paper. Nice sprayer. Big spray comes out of that. Let's do the Posh Malt. You can see there's a little dent in this one. I've been using this one. And if you didn't see the video, the one I made to 11, this one also nice sprayer. These Fragrance World sprayers are nice. I wasn't a big fan of this. When I first unboxed and tried this one out, it really didn't smell that much like this one. I thought it was just kind of like very unimpressive. And I guess the whole maturation thing works, because after a month or two, it was like a different fragrance. I'm talking like very similar to this, like 90% similar to this one. And let's blast the original Pure Malt. If you don't know what this fragrance is, of course you know about the original Thierry Mugler's A Men. I think that came out in 1995. It was way ahead of its time because it was one of the first gourmand fragrances, a fragrance that has edible notes, like chocolate is in this. It's kind of like a woody, chocolatey fragrance. Then a whole bunch of flankers came out in the 2000s and the 2010s. Like every year there was a new flanker. This one was called Pure Malt, and this one had a whiskey note added to it. So this is like the boozy A Men. And this one doesn't smell a whole lot like A Men. There's a little bit of A Men in this, of course. And honestly, I don't even really get the booziness in this. I think of fragrances like Bentley for Men Intense. Those are very boozy to me. This one is more of a sweet and fruity fragrance. That's what I get the most out of this. It's kind of overwhelming to my nose to smell these three at the same time. They're so similar. This one really smells rich. It's even a little bit heavier than the original one. This one seems like it's the lightest one. It's the maybe the sweetest one. But this one's really good. I'm really shocked about this one. Let me smell this one a little bit more in my hand. So off the first sniffs, it's a little bit light. And it's almost like that's the experience I had with this one when I first opened it up. It's a little bit light. This one on this hand is really rich. And right off the bat, how close is this one to this? I would say it's about 85% the same, whereas this one is getting to like 90 to 95%. So right now, this one smells closer to this than this, but they're all pretty similar. And this one was like just under $20, by the way. I got these both for about 20 bucks. Maybe this was 21 or 22. And just off the first impression, this big 100 ml bottle, this stuff is good. If you like this type of a fragrance. As I'm smelling these on paper, you know what's weird? For the first time, I'm getting a little bit of the whiskey, the booziness of it. I never got it before, but now I'm noticing it as I'm smelling it on paper, especially in the Posh Malt one. Yes, I smell a little bit of booziness in that. Not so much in the Star Men Nebula. And the A Men Pure Malt, it's just a little bit light. I'm not getting much off the paper, but I think I'm going nose blind because I'm just blowing my nose away. I'm blowing my nostrils away on these three fragrances all at once. I'm going to wear these around for the next week, and I'm going to come back and close out the video for a few minutes and tell you what I think about Star Men Nebula versus original A Men Pure Malt and Fragrance World Posh Malt. Alright guys, I'm back after about a week. Spraying this one on one hand and this one on the other hand, or spraying this one and this one, or this one and this one on a different day. Pretty much the same as what I said earlier. This is the standard. This is the model of this experiment. Sweet, fruity fragrance that has undertones that are ambery and a little bit woody. Even like if you mixed a tangerine and an orange and a banana together, mashed it together, you get this smooth sweetness. That's what I think of with this one. And the color kind of fits that. And Posh Malt, this one to me is the best one. Actually, I like this one. This is the best out of the three. The reason why I like this one a little bit more than these is this one seems to be a little bit, it just has some more depth and some more richness. It's richer than these two, to my nose at least. This one lasts a long time. The performance is, I'll just say it's good or pretty good. You know, if you just spray it once or twice, I would get like 4 hours with one or two sprays got me about 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours. A couple extra sprays and this thing was good for 6 hours. So let's just say 6 to 8 hours. And this one is about the same. So performance-wise, as far as projection goes and longevity, what I noticed is these are about the same. And this one here, the Star Men Nebula, this one is pretty good. As far as the scent goes, it's very close to these. The performance is not that good. So I would say this is just a step down from these. It's like a lighter version of Mugler's A Men Pure Malt. So if I'm going to give them a rating, and just give them a rating as far as how good of a clone is it to the original A Men Pure Malt, I would say Posh Malt, I would give this a 9.5. Because to me, this is like 95% similar. I even think that this is a little bit richer and has a little bit more depth. By the way, this doesn't really change. It doesn't develop on the skin. The dry down wasn't really that much different than the opening. It was pretty much linear throughout. Totally fine with that. I really like this scent. And this one, I would just give this one like an 8.5, which is pretty good. I really think that this one is like 85% similar to this, and the performance is a little bit less than these. Now, that's how I felt about this one. If you go back to video 211, which might be obsolete now, but if you like these fragrances, you might want to go back and see my initial impression of Posh Malt was that this was kind of underwhelming as a clone. This is fantastic, and this is trying to be like this. But after a couple months, this thing really changed, and now this thing is like fantastic. If this thing develops like that, matures in the bottle, then this is going to be gold. Because the price on this on Amazon is around $18 and change at this point. If you guys feel bad that you don't have an original bottle of the Mugler's A Men Pure Malt, like if this is sealed in the box, these things go for like $350, something like that, which is a crazy price, but I understand you can't get it anymore. It's discontinued. An opened one that's like new, like this one, but out of box or open box, these are like $250, $250, maybe even more now. Don't worry about it, guys. You don't even have to spend that much money anymore because you have these. These are so close. They're so good. It's almost like wearing the same thing. I brought these tester strips to work with me, and I had a coworker today actually smell the Nebula versus the Posh Malt one. And I asked her about them, and I said, what are the differences between these two? And she was like, these are the same. Like, I can't even tell you which one I like more because they're basically the same. She did say that the Nebula was a little bit weaker than the Posh Malt. She said that the Posh Malt was a little bit stronger. And she got some kind of a banana note out of this one. I don't get that, but she said that it almost reminds her of a banana. But I think that they're almost the same, just like what she said. So I agree on that point. I sprayed them on my hands like 5 minutes before I did the video. I put the Nebula on my left hand and the Posh Malt on my right hand. And I'm still getting the same verdict here. The Posh Malt is stronger. It's a little bit more complex than the Star Men Nebula at this point. And this one's good too, but I feel like it's almost the same as this one. This one really isn't that much better than this one. So what Fragrance World did is amazing. I don't know about any other clones. Fragrance World nailed it. They made 2 great clones. I'd say 8.5 on a 10 scale, 9.5 is how much I like this one. I'm not going to call this a 10. I'm not going to say this is a 10. It's not a perfect fragrance at all. The knock on A Men fragrances is that they're weird and that they're not appropriate. Like, where can you wear them? It's challenging to wear these, and I partially agree with that. It's not a work-safe fragrance. It's not a fresh and clean fragrance. This is more of a playful fragrance. These are playful fragrances that you would wear in social situations. Here is the original A Men. Here's my bottle. It's a 50 ml bottle of the original A Men. And I made a video that you saw with the other clone called Star Men, just the regular Star Men. I found another clone, guys. I found a second clone for A Men. And I was traveling in USA earlier this year, and I went to a market. Well, I'm not going to tell the story. I'll save it for the video, guys. I ordered it. It's coming. So in a couple weeks, I'm going to make an updated A Men clone video with 2 clones and compare them. Do a little battle with that. That's all I have for this video, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did like the video, please support me with a thumbs up and a like down below. And if you haven't, why not subscribe if you want to see more discontinued, vintage, rare, and interesting fragrance discovery. This hobby of mine, I'm just collecting this stuff and showing you what I'm picking up. And every now and again, I'll open up some new fragrances. I'm not a reviewer, I'm just a collector, but sometimes I'll do a little review and just give you my 2 cents on these fragrances. All right, guys, leave me a comment down below. What do you think of Mugler's A Men? What do you think of Pure Malt? What's your favorite flanker? Would love to know. Stay tuned for the next video, guys, all right? Until then, take care.